Prelude. Some stories don't need embellishment, just the courage to be told. What you're about to hear comes from one of our loyal subscribers, Ali Ahmed. It's a quiet, unsettling encounter that lingers long after the words have faded. Serving as the conduit for this storyteller, I share this anecdote with a firm belief in its veracity, unfiltered and with the weight it deserves, leaving it to you, the audience, to judge its authenticity. The story begins. There's something about government hospitals in Pakistan, especially after dark, that clings to your skin. It's not just the smell, it's the silence that's never really silent. The flicker of a dying tube light overhead, the cold mix of Dettol, old sweat and rusted iron. It's the kind of place where sorrow hums beneath everything, a place that teaches you to keep your eyes down because someone nearby is always suffering more than you can bear to see. I was there visiting a friend who just had surgery. He was staying in one of those shared wards. 6 beds crammed into a room, thin curtains drawn between them like afterthoughts, just enough privacy to pretend. He was asleep when I arrived, snoring lightly thanks to the painkillers, so I sat quietly on the edge of his bed and scrolled through my phone. The kind of mindless scrolling we do when we're trying not to feel too much. And then I heard it, low, cracked, like a throat that hadn't swallowed water in days. It was barely a whisper. Bye, Paani. The voice came from 2 beds down. I looked up. The curtain around that bed was half drawn. All I could see was an arm, pale, skeletal, hanging limply off the edge of the mattress. I hesitated, but there was something in that voice, something fragile. I stood, walked over, and gently pulled the curtain aside. There he was. A man in his 40s, maybe, skin clinging to bone, sunken eyes closed, chest rising with shallow effort. His right arm had been amputated and was wrapped in old, yellowing gauze. The left trembled weakly as he reached for something that wasn't there. I found a plastic cup nearby, filled it from his water bottle and lifted it to his lips. He drank slowly, each sip a struggle. When he finished, he let out the faintest breath, then whispered, "Thanks." That was it. I turned away, and the curtain fell shut behind me. The next day, the ward began to feel strangely familiar. The rhythm of suffering settling into background noise, groans, coughs, the rustling of IV drips, the slow squeak of nurses' shoes on the floor. But one thing felt wrong. Bed number 6. The same one I'd approached the night before. Curtains still half-drawn, still silent. I asked my friend casually, "Who's the guy in there? Always quiet, never moves." He barely glanced over. "No idea," he murmured. "Never seen anyone there." Something about it felt wrong. Then I noticed the nurses always skipped that bed during their rounds. They checked every patient, even the unconscious ones, but never that one, not once. And no one ever came to visit. On the 3rd night, I decided to stay. The plastic chair beside my friend's bed was brutal, unforgiving to the back, colder to the soul. But I stayed. Around 2 a.m., the lights dimmed to a hospital dusk, and the ward fell into that unnatural quiet that only sick places know. I got up to stretch, and that's when I saw it. Bed 6. The man was sitting upright, back perfectly straight, eyes wide open, staring. He wasn't blinking. He didn't look at me. He looked through me. His pale arm rested stiffly on the blanket, the amputated side still swaddled in gauze, unmoving. I didn't feel fear, not at first. What I felt was wrongness. Thick, unnatural. Like something in the room had broken, like time itself had stalled. I stood frozen in that silence, then walked away, not scared, just overwhelmed by that terrible stillness. I sank back into the chair and shut my eyes, pretending none of it had happened. Like sleep could undo what I'd seen. But I didn't sleep, not really. That image, the way he sat, so still, so unnatural, stayed with me until morning. On the 4th day, as my friend was being discharged, I went to the nurses' station to wrap up the paperwork. I couldn't help it. So, while waiting, I asked casually, "Hey, who's the guy in bed 6? The nurse looked up, puzzled. "Bed 6?" she echoed, flipping through the chart. "No one's assigned to bed 6. We don't use it. Faulty wiring. The light keeps flickering." I stared at her. "That can't be right. I saw someone there. I even gave him water the other night." She looked at me for a long moment, then silently led the way back to the ward. She reached for the curtain and pulled it aside. The bed was empty. Neatly made, sheets tucked tight, no water bottle, no cup, no trace anyone had ever been there. A chill crept down my spine. My mouth went dry. "I saw him," I whispered, more to myself than to her. "He thanked me. Sat up the other night. His arm was amputated." She didn't answer right away. Instead, she turned and walked back to her desk. I followed as she opened an old cabinet, pulled out a worn file and began flipping through its brittle pages until she stopped. "There was someone like that," she said softly. "About 3 weeks ago. Lost his arm in a road accident. No family, no visitors. He died waiting. 3rd night in. Same bed." She turned the file around and pointed to the photo clipped on top. It was him, the same face, the same man I'd given water to, the same man who had whispered, "Thanks." Thank you for watching aikdastaan, where every tale is a testament to the human spirit and every voice resonates with the truth as they perceive it.